Hey everyone, Ditto welcoming you back for more Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the last part, we did some side quests as a child and made our way to the Fire Temple. Now in this part, we are going to start progressing through the Fire Temple. Probably my least favorite dungeon in the entire game. It's not a horrible dungeon, but I just find it to be kind of boring. But I'm going to have a positive attitude because there's Darunia. How could you not be positive when Darunia is on screen?
Who is there? Is that you, Link? Oh, it really is Link. You've grown so big since I last saw you. I want to have a man-to-man talk with you, but now's not the time. Ganondorf is causing trouble on Death Mountain again. He has revived the evil ancient dragon Volvagia. On top of that, he is going to feed my people to that evil dragon as a warning to other races that might resist him.
Probably shouldn't have spent a bunch of time playing with frogs in the river, but what's done is done.
If that fire-breathing dragon escapes from the mountain, all of Hyrule will become a burning wasteland. I will go on ahead to try to seal up the evil dragon. I'm concerned, though, because I don't have the legendary hammer, but I have no choice. Link, I'm asking you to do this as my sworn brother. While I'm trying to deal with the dragon, please save my people. The prisoner's cells are in the opposite direction. I'm counting on you, Link.
That is why I really like Darunia. He really just takes action when it comes to protecting his people. He doesn't just sit around and wait for the hero to appear. He's like actually in the boss room trying to fight the evil dragon. And I like to think that he locked the door because he didn't want us to come after to try to protect it. He was worried about us and our safety. But now, what we're going to do while Darunia is fighting the dragon, and hopefully he is successful, we don't even have to fight the boss, but we know damn well that's not going to be the case. We can come over here, and this is going to be the premise of the dungeon. Saving the Gorons to progress further, because each Goron will have something like a small key in it. And, let's talk to you.
Are you releasing me? Am I free to go? I'll tell you a secret for saving me. In order to get into the room where Darunia went, you have to do something about the pillar stuck in the ceiling. Find a path that leads to a room above the ceiling right away.
And that is another premise of the dungeon. Basically, we're going to be saving Gorons until we can reach that room above this room and do something about that pillar and jump across to the boss room. And of course, somewhere along the way, we'll find the boss key. Pretty simple. That's kind of the whole gimmick of this dungeon. I'm not going to talk to all the Gorons because there are a lot of Gorons to save in this dungeon. And they're all pretty much just going to say the same thing. Oh, here's a tip on how to progress the dungeon. Thank you for saving me, brother. But we're going to use that small key. We had to go in there and talk to Darunia so we could get this small key. We can see that there's another locked door. And this room is pretty big. So what we're going to do is we're going to head to the right over here. One thing the Goron Tunic does do, as you just saw, you don't take damage from lava right away once you hop in it. You have a grace period of a couple seconds, actually quite a few seconds before you start taking damage. And it's only a fraction of a heart, so it's not like it's going to do a whole lot. And I don't know about you guys, but this area over here looks very suspicious. If we hit it with our sword, it's making a weird sound. We've heard that sound before. We know exactly what that means. Let us place a bomb. I'm actually going to just replace the Ocarina on my equips with bombs because we're going to be using them a lot in this dungeon. Which figures, we originally got the bombs on Death Mountain. And when we come through here, we see a shaking Goron. These guys really are terrified. Well, I mean, I'd be scared if I was going to get eaten as well. But yeah, you just have to grab the keys because obviously we need them to progress. But you just have to unlock the door for the Gorons because they will go away on their own. You don't have to watch all of them walk away. You can see that once we have that room open for him, he will be gone. He'll be free. So we don't need to stop and talk to everybody because, quite frankly, that would take just way too long. And I guess instead of going to the locked door right away, we're going to head to the other side, the opposing side of this room. And I'm going to talk about something, and that is the music for the Fire Temple. So, in early versions of this game, 1.0 and I believe 1.1 cartridges of this game, the gold cartridges and early gray cartridges of Ocarina of Time's release on the 64, the Fire Temple music is very different. And what I mean by that is, well, just go ahead and have a listen. Yeah, to be honest, it kind of sounds a lot creepier to me. And as you can tell, as we progress through this dungeon, and also at the end of the dungeon, it'll be the music for the outro, that is not what the Fire Temple music is anymore. And you might be wondering why that is. Why would they change the music in later versions of the game? And that is actually because the original music for the Fire Temple is kind of just ripped from an audio CD, and it's an open source, but the thing with that, and we're gonna have tiles fly out, just hold out your shield, and honestly they won't be able to do anything if you just stand in a corner with your shield up. But the reason for that is because the sound audio used is actually that of a religious Muslim prayer. Now, there's other things involving Muslims in Ocarina of Time that are controversial. Well, I shouldn't say Muslims. It's an Islamic prayer. Not all Muslims necessarily are Islamic, but it is an Islamic prayer. And with that, the music was changed because it was viewed as highly offensive of using such a sacred prayer for background music in a temple. I think it really enhances the atmosphere of this being a temple, and especially, like, you know, since temples are supposed to be sacred grounds, and we have a gold sculptula in this room. That's all really this room is used for, so if you don't care about that, just continue moving on. But obviously, if you are somebody that takes offense to that and the Islamic music being used, the prayer being used, I completely understand that 100%. And of course, especially since that is not the only controversy involved with the Islamic religion in this game and things that were changed from early versions. But trust me, we will get to that. And the other one for me, I think is completely offensive. Whereas the prayer I can see. But yeah, the other music is a lot better because it's a lot creepier with the way that it sounds really distorted. But yeah, you can see why it's changed, to say the least. But with that being said, let us continue on through here. We got a gold sculptula. I didn't really think I needed to explain much. I wanted to talk about the Fire Temple music because it's a bit of trivia that fans of this game, they know just from being on the internet for so long. That fact is widely available. But I wanted to just sort of mention that here because I want to mention a bunch of different things like that throughout the development of this game and changes, because there are a lot of changes from early versions. I have an early version gray cartridge that still has those changes, but typically Ocarina of Time gray cartridges will have the more modern version of the game with all the changes in it. But if we hookshot to the fence, climb up it, and push this block down, we can ride this up here where we get a really weird point of view. But this is what we needed that second key for. And hello, little Goron. I have no way of saving you. Excuse me. Please don't eat me. If you eat something like me, you'll get a stomach ache. You'll be sorry. But yeah, I feel like I would have been called out by somebody who knows this game, even though, again, my audience consists of like 4 people. I still want to cover as much of this game as possible, including development and history and stuff I think is cool, because I'm a really big Zelda fan, and I think stupid stuff like that is really cool. We see a switch there. We're not going to want to press that right away. Instead, we're going to want to hop over here. This dungeon, to me, is a lot more straightforward than the Forest Temple. So I feel like I don't have to explain everything that's going on, but there are some intricacies that I feel like I'll have to get a little bit more in depth with as we progress forward. But yeah, the Forest Temple can be a lot more confusing in my opinion. I think the Fire Temple is only harder because there's just a lot more enemies in it, and some of them are kind of annoying. But basically, once we get up here to where this ring of fire is, going down, 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 the flames grew higher. Alright, we are gonna throw a bomb, which honestly, there's an easier way of dealing with this, but fine, whatever. I was gonna say, I don't know why I have the Ocarina back out, but then I remembered it was the stupid Song of Time block, which is just a major inconvenience. But we can actually lean from above here and use the hook shot. That's a lot easier, but if you manage to be able to hit it with the bomb, you can hear a ticking noise, which means we're on a timer. The bomb will allow you to have more time, but as we climb up here... I mean, you have plenty of time anyway, but it's better to be safe than sorry. We enter one of the most annoying rooms in the game. I'm trying to be as positive as I can with this dungeon. But we're going to want to progress by... This room is a total maze. There's rocks rolling everywhere, and rocks can be really, really annoying. We can hit the switch here. And we're going to ignore you, buddy. Yeah, you can... I don't know if you guys saw that, but the camera angle actually glitched, and you could see the bars, like, sliding back into the wall, even though we're really not supposed to see that. But before we progress further, we are gonna get hit by a boulder. We're gonna search around for something. I can hear those slugs. They're very loud. I believe it is over here. If you get under a corner, the game will actually zoom in so you can get a better angle. But we can hear a gold Skulltula, and we can actually blow up this wall here. And we can get our second gold Skulltula for this temple. Very, very nice. And we can try to make it through here. I guess this room isn't that annoying. I just really hate boulders. And it's not just a boulder. It's a rock. Rocks. Alright. And that locked door that we were by earlier, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but just like earlier in the dungeon, you want to make sure to have both of these small keys before we progress through that locked door, because otherwise you're just going to be stopped right away again by another locked door. So, and it's actually just right over here, and I actually have a funny story. Well, it's not that funny, but I don't normally talk about production issues, because why would I? I guess I'll show this off. But if we shoot this eye here with our arrow, that door will open, and you want to walk very carefully going through here. Because, actually, you know what? I'm a little bitch. I'm going to use Furore's Wind in case I fall. Because the room below this is actually the room with the bridge when you first, like, enter the fire temple, like, where we jumped across that bridge and it was really wide and there was, like, 3 different doors. Yeah, if you fall down, you have to go all the way back up. But if we come through here, we can actually see an upcoming area of the dungeon, like, very upcoming. And through this chest, I normally don't grab this, but I want to show everything I can. We have the dungeon map, and wow, it is astonishing how similar the fire temple is to the Dongo's Cavern. No, I'm kidding, Let's go back through here. And we still have Furore's Wind set. I guess Furore's Wind is really good for things where... I'm being a lot more risky now that I have Furore's Wind up. A lot more, stuff like this where you could really fall down and lose a lot of progress. But yeah, so actually I paused the video last part where I was doing the stuff for the frogs when I was playing all the Ocarina songs for the frogs, and when I got it, I went to resume the video to show you guys the rest of it, like getting the heart piece by playing for the frog choir, and I actually ended up canceling the video, so the footage for that second half of the video all had to be redone. I wanted to keep my audio especially since I saved inside the fire temple. And we have a firewall. Hopefully your PC is protected. And there we go. We're just going to jump across here. The firewall is really slow. We see a locked door over there, but we do not have a small key, so let us continue going this way. Yeah, you have plenty of time to make it. I think the firewall doesn't even do anything except like damage you a little bit. But no reason you shouldn't be able to make it all the way over here. But yeah, so what happened was when I went to unpause the recording so that it would resume when I got all of the goobers taken care of, the little frogs. Or the big frogs, rather. That's what they became. I actually ended recording my footage, so I had to re-record the footage for the complete second half of that video, and I haven't done that yet, actually. I'm going to do it after I do the fire temple, probably. But by blowing that up, we can actually get to the Goron it looked like I abandoned earlier. That was in this room. Here, that way you can get a better idea of which one it was. I walked past him and didn't really say anything, I guess outside of the context of not knowing that I know things about this game. It just looks like I'm a jerk that just completely ignored this Goron. But let us go back up here, and we're gonna want to pull out the Ocarina again. And we're gonna climb. And you guys are gonna see the first instance of what the ow, I just bumped my head. What the fuck? We're gonna see the first instance of what the Scarecrow's song does. Be careful climbing up here because he can knock you back down, and it is so annoying. But you can see that there are spots in the world and also in dungeons where Navi will just fly. She'll just fly away, and she'll have like this green to her. She did it better when I was over here. So, yeah, she flew away and becomes green. When that happens, that is the spot where you can play the Scarecrow's song. That is not the Scarecrow song. I I have some dyslexia going on. Because I want to talk to... Sure, actually. Link? Saria, can you hear me? Link, at first I didn't want to become the Sage of the Forest, but I'm glad now, because I am helping you to save Hyrule, Link. Yes, I am. Do you want to talk to Saria again? No. Oh, it's kind of sad, yet sweet. But basically, the Song of Healing from Majora's Mask, which is what I have as my Scarecrow song because I can remember it, but apparently I can't remember it. Is actually Saria's song backwards. So I actually... Excuse me? So I ended up playing Saria's song instead of my... Ugh, got disoriented again. Maybe I need to change this because I keep ending up playing Saria's song instead. There we go. I just had to be over here. For some reason, it did it over here where Navi wasn't green as opposed to when she was. But a Scarecrow will appear, and that will allow us to hookshot to it no matter where he's at. You can see how this can be used for things such as shortcuts or reaching areas that we wouldn't be able to normally get to. There is no way of getting up here legitimately without knowing the Scarecrow's song. So that is why we went and got it before entering the Fire Temple. And yes, it is something I completely forgot about before recording up to the Death Mountain crater. And we can hear a gold Skulltula crawling around. Let us climb up here. And snag you. And yes, this is not a required area. If you did not get the Scarecrow song, do not worry. You do not need to leave to progress the dungeon, but you will have to come back in order to get the gold Skulltula if that's something you're interested in doing. And what does Switch do? Anyway, we have another gold Skulltula. That is walking over to the side of this wall. And come on. I guess I should have hook shot up there, huh? Well, that's wonderful. Oh well. I'm just gonna ignore that. And we are gonna go back down. We have nothing else that I really want to do over here. I know it might annoy some of you that I just left that chest there, and will forever be on the map of this dungeon once we get the compass, but I'm not too worried about that right now, and yeah! Alright, we need to be actually up on this top, so I didn't want to have to up on this top. That sounds like it could be taken out of context. Alright, but we're going to want to be on these top platforms and not back down in the maze. So I'm glad I was able to just land back on top of it. Alright, I guess I still have Farore's Wind set, if that accounts for anything. So it wouldn't be too bad. And defeat that little guy, even though we don't really have to. It's something I want to do. And if we jump across here, you can see that that switch opened up this little cage. I say that way too cutely. These guys might die if I don't do anything. I'll just go play with the frogs again. And, jeez. What was that, 4 arrows? That is so many for just a little torch slug, which I think is the actual name of those guys. I don't know, I guess I should check. I didn't really explain anything about them. And I said I wasn't going to talk to you. I'll tell you a secret for saving me. If you find a place that you can see on the map but can't reach, try playing your Ocarina. I think that is in reference to the Scarecrow song, especially since it's so close to where you would use the Scarecrow song. And we have our second small key. And a typical rule of this dungeon, I suppose, is that you never want to go through a locked door with just one small key. So we are going to head back into that firewall room where we saw the locked door. And it's actually a pretty interesting way of how you get over to that locked door. And yep. And now actually when we step down, the firewall is going to be over on this side. And now actually when I first played the game, I got stuck here because I couldn't figure out how to get up there. Because it doesn't look like you would be able to jump and grab your way to this ledge. But yeah, you can. It looks like it would be way too tall to jump into. And what is through here? That looks like the pillar that was in that original room that they told us to go into. In fact, I think that's what Navi's about to... Excuse me! I think that's what Navi's about to tell us right now. You can see down from here. Isn't that the room where we saw Darunia? Yes, it is. And this looks like the top half of that pillar that we need, but there's still quite nothing we can do about it. This door is sticking out. That does not look real, and it is not. If you want to know if a door is real or not, you can hit it with your sword, and it will fall down. To get it to go away, you can just put a bomb in front of it, and it'll blow up. Now, you're going to want to walk slow, but not too fast along these sides here, because you'll see that there is a firewall. We cannot progress this way. Wait. They will not appear until you get close. Do not pull out the bow. So you're going to want to be very careful to not run into the walls. And there is our second locked door. Let us walk around to that. This room can be really annoying. When we come through here... What is this but a Goron that we cannot reach? Let us ignore it for now. And now we are on this side of the room where we're completely blocked out of because of this firewall over here. And I still somehow ran into it. I need to check. Do I have fairies? Okay, this could be concerning. And bugs. I should have used that when we were at the Death Mountain Crater. But, oh well. There's always next part. And... Bah. It's a good thing that I have a lot of hearts. Now, that switch is going to be on a timer. So, you have to be really careful to walk across neatly. Now that once we're up here, we're pretty safe. So let's see what's in here. Hearts, bombs. Oh my, oh me. Could it be that a boss is coming up? And this is obviously a fake door. Is that going to be close enough? Yeah! And let us pull out the hook shot. That's going to make this mini boss a little bit easier. And Flare Dancer. Extinguish its flaming clothing first. Alright, I wouldn't call that clothing, but we can pull it out with the hook shot, and we can just slash away. If it's running from you like this, you can actually pull out your bow, and it'll stop for a second. Alternatively, you saw that they gave us bombs, because believe it or not, you actually don't need the hook shot. You can just use bombs, and that'll cause them to fall out. But I think the hook shot's a little bit easier in my opinion, so that's the way I prefer to do it. But that is why they gave us bombs, because it is a possibility. I'm going to spin attack. It seems to be a little bit more effective. And a new color, third color, and the final one. And let's go. If only we had a more powerful spin attack. If you wait too long to attack it, and oh, it's going to blow. If you wait too long to attack it, you actually, it'll go back into the flame and sort of recover a little bit. So you don't want to do that. You have to pull it out of the flame again. So be sure to attack it as fast as possible. And coming up here. We have yet another switch. We're going to ignore it for now until we climb up here. You can guess because it's another tamed? Tamed this fly. Oh my god! I do not know the English language whatsoever. Another timed firewall. Jeez, I'm gonna have to start doing these videos talking slowly the whole time. But yeah, another one that's also really easy, and another one that you can also hook shot. You don't really have to do it that way, but a little bit easier to just drop it down in my opinion. Now, this room can be devastating. And I'm thinking about, now that I'm doing a Let's Play, I'm honestly thinking about spots where I can use Furor's Wind a little bit more. And this seems to be another good spot. Maybe I'll be able to use it in every single dungeon, and it's more useful than I had anticipated. But the reason for this is because, just like last time, you can see that we will fall down a very large distance. To avoid that, I set Furor's Wind in case I do something stupid, which is very likely, because we have some narrow edges to walk across, and I'm going to try to take out as many enemies as we can, because that is what makes this difficult. You know, seeing that I'm this bad at aiming makes me very concerned for some of the horseback challenges later in the game. Come on. Okay, that should be fine. Alright. So let us press this switch, and you will not be able to walk across normally. You have to walk on these narrow edges. But with the enemies gone, it's a little bit easier. And we made it across. We're golden. We're golden Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time 1.0 Collector's Edition cartridge. Megaton Hammer! I have no idea what I was rambling about. Press the C button to smash and break junk. I love that description. It's so heavy you need to use 2 hands to swing it. This is our first example of a 2-handed weapon. And yep, there are multiple 2-handed weapons. Pressing it normally will just cause Link to thrust it down and smash stuff. But if we hold the control stick left or... If we hold the control stick while Z targeting, we can swing it from left to right. You'll notice that the movement is very slow, but it does pack a punch. So it's kind of trading speed for power. But yeah, the Megaton Hammer, that is how we're going to be able to progress forward. So next time on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, we will hopefully be finishing up the Fire Temple. I will see you guys then.